A mother of two disappeared, and when she realized she was running out of options and the man she'd been trying to escape had found her again, she made one last desperate move, dialing 911.
Smith, who has two young children, last spoke to her mother around 7 o'clock Saturday, December 2nd. That same night, she called 911 to report her ex-boyfriend. 34-year-old Daniel Harmon showed up at her home. She ran down the street to get away from him. While police arrested and charged Harmon a few days later in North Augusta with kidnapping and domestic violence, there have been no signs of Smith, and loved ones say they can't get any answers.
Nothing has been said, nothing has been done. We've been, left to do our own thing.
The investigators are communicating with key individuals of the family. I believe Ms. Smith's mother, father, a couple of relatives. The specifics, I don't know.
Smith's family says the abuse can be dated back to August, with email exchanges between investigators and Jamilla. News Channel 6 obtained the 100-page incident reports that date back to the same time, all showing Harmon's early trouble with the law and the couple's violent relationship. The last deputy called to the couple's domestic dispute in November revealed the deputy believed Harmon choked and scratched her, noting dried blood on his nails.
Daniel Harmon is an abuser. He has a rap sheet more than a mile long, but always seems to weasel his way back into population. We do know beyond a shadow of a doubt that Jamilla was screaming for help. The ones that she was supposed to be able to trust to help her and save her failed her.
Loved ones want to search the areas between where Smith lived and where Harmon was arrested, along with properties they believed he owned in the CSRA. While Smith's children are with their grandmother, family members say she and Jamilla's father are distraught, and they aren't sure they will make it without her as the holidays approach.
Her mom told me, she says, I don't know if I'm going to survive this.
Before we get too deep, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions. Jamilla Shanae Smith was born on May 26, 1993 in Sanford, North Carolina. She was nicknamed Millie by her loved ones. When she was just 9 years old, her parents separated, and she went to live with her mother, Tina, and her stepfather, Pierre. Her mother was in the military, which meant Jamilla grew up constantly moving from place to place, including overseas. She loved to sing, dance, and put smiles on other people's faces. People genuinely loved being around her. Jamilla ended her educational journey in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where she graduated from Pine Forest High School. After graduation, she got married and had her first son. For a while, things seemed to be going well, but like many young marriages, theirs didn't last. They realized they just weren't meant for each other, and in 2018, they divorced. At 25, Jamilla found herself navigating life as a single mother. She threw herself into her career as a hairstylist, and she was passionate about what she did. Her clients loved her not just for her skills, but for her warm personality. She had built a life for herself and her son, and she was proud of what she'd accomplished. But then she met Gabriel Harmon. At first, it seemed like a fresh start, but that turned out to be the beginning of another storm. Daniel was 34 years old and seemed like a good guy at first, but according to reports, he had a past with over 100 pages of criminal records. In 2013, Daniel pleaded guilty to assault. He only got 12 months probation for that. Then twice in 2015, he had 2 more assault charges. All of this was documented in court records. In 2016, the court ordered him to enroll in counseling and family intervention programs. Then in 2019, during a traffic stop in North Augusta, Daniel struck a police officer in the face with his elbow and then led them on a chase, turning off his headlights while driving, trying to escape. This man had a documented history of violence, running from law enforcement, and complete disregard for court orders. But when Jamilla and Daniel got together, she thought he was a perfect match. They had a child together, which was Jamilla's second son. For a while, they seemed happy. They shared photos of their adorable baby, pictures of themselves when everything appeared to be going well. Family and friends were happy for Jamilla because she seemed content, and her new baby was beautiful. But it didn't take long for the mask to slip. Daniel started showing signs of the same behaviors that had landed him in trouble before. It started gradually, checking her phone, questioning where she'd been, isolating her from friends and family. Then it escalated. Jamilla's family quickly realized something was wrong. They started noticing bruises, changes in her behavior, the way she would make excuses for Daniel or try to cover for him. The situation got so bad that Jamilla had to call the police to their apartment. During one incident, a deputy responding to their domestic dispute believed Daniel had scratched Jamilla. The officer noted how serious that encounter was. On August 22, 2023, police were called to Jamilla and Daniel's home for an altercation. When they arrived, they found that Jamilla had locked Daniel outside, so he kicked the door down to get back in. Jamilla told officers that Daniel was angry and had put his hands on her. She had visible bruising on her lips, but when officers questioned Daniel, he denied everything. He told them Jamilla was making it up. And even though Jamilla had visible injuries, Daniel wasn't arrested that night. The officers claimed they didn't arrest him because Jamilla wasn't making eye contact, and her story kept changing. That same night, after the police left, Jamilla reportedly wrote an email to the Aiken County Sheriff's Office. In that email, she detailed the incident that occurred. She attached photos of her injuries from that night, and she also included photos of injuries from previous incidents. She told them she was afraid, and she asked for help. According to reports, that email was never answered. After sending that email, she tried to continue living her life. She still had 2 children to take care of, and she was still trying to make her relationship with Daniel work. But things were only getting worse. By November 2023, the situation had become unbearable. On November 9th, Jamilla decided that she was leaving Daniel and she was taking her children with her. While Daniel was out of the house, she started packing her things into her car with everything she and her children would need, trying to get everything packed before he returned. But he came back and realized what was happening. When Daniel saw Jamilla packing, he reportedly tried to stop her. An intense argument followed and Daniel got injured. Jamilla called 911 again. When the authorities arrived, Daniel told them a completely different story. He said he was only upset because he wanted Jamilla to stay and that this was just like any other argument between them. He told the officers that everything was under control. The paramedics transported Daniel to the hospital to treat his wound, leaving Jamilla alone at the house. This was her chance. Her children were staying with relatives for the holidays, so she could focus on getting herself to safety without worrying about them. Jamilla used Daniel's absence to continue packing. She was determined to be gone before he got back from the hospital. She loaded the last of her belongings into her car, walked out to the driveway, and discovered that her car was gone. Someone had stolen her vehicle with all of her possessions inside it. Jamilla was stranded, with no way to leave and nowhere to go. She called the police again. This was the second time in one day that officers were coming to her house. When she reported the stolen car, Jamilla told officers she believed one of Daniel's friends had taken it. After all, Daniel was at the hospital, so he couldn't have done it himself. The police questioned Daniel about the missing car, but he denied knowing anything about it. Without evidence, all they could do was put out an alert for the vehicle. Jamilla called her mother in Florida and explained what had happened. Her mother lived 12 hours away and couldn't get to her immediately, but she arranged for Jamilla's aunt, who lived 8 hours away, to come pick her up. However, her aunt wasn't able to make the trip until the next day. Jamilla's mother offered to pay for a hotel room so she wouldn't have to stay in the house overnight, but she declined. She said everything was okay and that she could handle one more night. By the evening of November 9th, Daniel had been released from the hospital and returned home. When he walked through that door and saw that Jamilla was still there, the argument that had started the day before continued with renewed intensity. According to Jamilla's account to police, Daniel argued with her from the evening of November 9th straight through to the morning of November 10th. This was hours of sustained argument. When police were called to the house again on November 10th, Daniel wasn't there. He had left before the officers arrived. Jamilla told them about the all-night argument and revealed that Daniel had put his hands on her again. This time, the evidence was clear and undeniable. Jamilla had visible injuries on her body. When When officers examined Daniel's hands after he returned to the house during their investigation, they found evidence related to the incident. Despite having a victim with visible injuries and a suspect with physical evidence, Daniel Harmon walked free that day. The officers took photographs of Jamilla's injuries and then left to go back to headquarters to draw up paperwork for a warrant. Fortunately, Jamilla's aunt arrived that day as planned and took her to Florida to stay with her mother. For a brief moment, it seemed like Jamilla might finally be safe. About a week later, on November 17th, Jamilla's stolen car was found, and just as she had suspected, it had been taken by one of Daniel's friends, a man named Thomas Tompkins. When Jamilla heard that her car had been located, she was relieved. That car contained all of her personal belongings, including her purse and important documents. But when Jamilla arrived to retrieve her vehicle, she was devastated to discover that it wasn't just in an impound lot, it was completely destroyed. Now Jamilla was stranded without transportation. Her family came together to raise money so she could purchase another vehicle, but this process took time. This meant she had to stay in South Carolina longer than she had planned. The original plan had been to stay in South Carolina just long enough to get her car back, then drive to Florida to start a new life with her mother. But with her car destroyed, that plan fell apart. Jamilla was stuck in the same area as Daniel, trying to scrape together enough money for a new vehicle while staying away from him. As the days passed in November, Daniel kept finding ways to insert himself back into her life. On the morning of December 2nd, 2023, Jamilla's mother, Tina, received a FaceTime call. When she looked at her phone, she saw that the call was coming from Daniel's phone number. When she answered, she saw her daughter's face on the screen. Jamilla was calling from Daniel's phone because, according to what she told her mother, Daniel had gotten angry during an argument and thrown her phone out of the window while they were driving on Interstate 20. According to her, the reason she and Daniel were together that day was because they had gone car shopping. Daniel had allegedly offered to help her find a vehicle, and they had traveled to Columbia, South Carolina to look at cars. During the FaceTime call, Jamilla's mother immediately realized something was wrong. She was upset that her daughter was back with Daniel after everything that had happened. When Jamilla explained about her phone being thrown out of the car window, Tina remembered the Find My iPhone app on her phone. She used the app to locate Jamilla's phone and guided her daughter to where it had landed along the highway. Around 6 p.m. that day, Jamilla sent her mother a text message saying she had successfully retrieved her phone and thanked her for the help. In that text message, Jamilla told her mother that she loved her and said goodbye, telling her they would talk later. Tina had no way of knowing that this would be the last communication she would ever receive from her daughter. The trip back from Columbia was normal because they seemed to have settled some of their issues. According to reports, Jamilla was driving and Daniel had fallen asleep in the passenger seat. They arrived back at the house on Old Jackson Highway around 6:30 p.m. At about 8:48 p.m., Jamilla Smith dialed 911. The dispatcher who answered that call stated that Jamilla was out of breath and clearly running. She told the dispatcher that her ex-boyfriend had come to her residence and that she was trying to get away from him. In the background of that call, the sound of a car engine revving was heard. Jamilla was screaming, and there was the sound of the phone being dropped. But the call didn't end there. The dispatcher could still hear what was happening. A male voice was heard telling Jamilla to get into the car so he could take her to the emergency room. She was heard telling him not to touch her. The male voice reportedly denied hitting her, claiming instead that she had jumped in front of his car. Jamilla allegedly responded that she hadn't jumped in front of the vehicle, asking to be left alone and stating that she was in pain and couldn't feel her arm, saying that he had run her over. The last sound heard on that 911 call was Jamilla screaming, "No," and then the call went silent. The next day, December 3rd, when Jamilla didn't show up to pick up her oldest son from his father, her mother knew something was wrong. Tina immediately contacted the Aiken County Sheriff's Office and requested a welfare check at Jamilla's address. When she gave them the location, the dispatcher told her that officers had already been to that house the night before. According to the police report, deputies had responded to the 911 call and arrived at Jamilla's house, but when they got there, nobody was home. They knocked on the door, looked around the property, and then left. They returned later that night around 12:30 a.m. for another patrol check, but still found no vehicles and no signs of anyone at the residence. When Tina requested the welfare check on December 3rd, officers returned to the house with a more thorough approach. This time, they noticed things they had missed during their previous visits. There was a damaged window on the ground in front of the house, and the window above it was open. There was a footprint on the front door, suggesting someone had kicked it, and most importantly, there was a set of keys lying on the ground near the open window. When officers described these keys to Tina, she immediately confirmed that they belonged to her daughter Jamilla. The deputies also noticed that the front door of the house was unlocked. Given the 911 call, the missing person, the signs of forced entry, they made the decision to enter the home. Inside, they found no obvious signs of a struggle, no overturned furniture, no evidence of violence inside the residence. Whatever had happened to Jamilla had happened outside the house. While the deputies were investigating the scene, Daniel's parents showed up at the house. They told officers that they were also looking for Daniel because they hadn't been able to contact him either. At this point, both Jamilla and Daniel were officially considered missing persons. Police put out an alert for both of them, along with a description of the black Dodge Charger that Daniel had been driving. While Daniel was missing, investigators took the time to review his history with Jamilla, and they discovered that the arrest warrant they requested for a previous incident had finally been completed. Daniel Gabriel Harmon was officially wanted in connection with the November incident where he had hurt Jamilla. On December 5th, investigators received a tip about the location of the black Dodge Charger. Someone had spotted the vehicle at a residence on Carpenterville Road in North Augusta. When officers arrived at the location, they found the vehicle parked in front of the house exactly as described. But when they approached the residence to serve the warrant, Daniel didn't come out voluntarily. Aiken County SWAT and the North Augusta Department of Public Safety were called in to assist with the arrest. Eventually, Daniel came out of the house. He had to be transported to a local hospital for medical treatment before he could be taken to the Aiken County Detention Center. While Daniel was being processed, investigators obtained a search warrant for the black Dodge Charger. Inside the trunk of the car, they discovered evidence along with cleaning supplies. The evidence was immediately collected and sent to the state laboratory for testing. The results of that testing took some time, but investigators already had enough to charge Daniel with in connection with Jamilla's disappearance. The 911 call, combined with the evidence found in his vehicle, painted a picture of what had happened on December 2nd.
Jamilla Smith, the 30-year-old mother of two young sons, has not been heard from since the evening of Saturday, December 2nd, when she spoke on the phone with her mother.
She called me from his phone around 3, and she said, Daniel threw my phone out of the window on I-20.
An Aiken County incident report tells us that Smith's mother, Tina McCraw, had police conduct a welfare check December 3rd.
put up flyers, and offered a reward that eventually grew to $10,000 for any information leading to Jamilla's whereabouts.
So it's tough, but you know, we're still gonna do it, you know, whether we still searching through the woods, swampy areas, we don't care. You know, we have one mission, one goal. And also, if there has been information that was given through the sheriff county, and if you feel like it's been overlooked, you know, we do have a personal email where y'all can directly contact us, you know, because we're asking for any information, any help on her whereabouts, anything that's reliable, please. The email is justiceforjamilla@gmail.com. It's justice, the number 4, Jamilla@gmail.com. And we're diligently following up on every lead. We're still offering a $10,000 reward, so that's still up. So we're continuing our search for Millie. And it's just, like I said, it's our main goal, you know, like her kids, like, you know, we still have to tell them, answer to them somehow, you know, where is their mom? You know, we don't know, we don't have answers. So we're just, like I said, we just want to bring Millie home, okay?
Last time I spoke with them, or they contacted me, last time we was out here, we did a press conference. The Detective Abdullah called probably about 4:30. That was January 26th, and that's the last I heard from her. The 29th, that's the last I heard from her. That's the last contract.
Have you attempted to reach out to them since then?
No, I was told I was supposed to be in contact with every week, but that haven't happened. So we just run around, like I said last time. We're just trying to get Jamilla home, but this isn't her home, so we need to find her and bring her home.
I do want to go back to something you said earlier. You said you guys have been getting a number of tips. Kind of explain to me how you guys got those tips, like what avenues, and how you guys gave that information to the sheriff's office.
So, if I stand correctly, there have been leads, but there hasn't been any connecting, like follow-ups with the sheriff counties. So with the leads, they just haven't been following up on them.
So what type of leads do you know?
Just search areas, locations.
To know what's going on, and unfortunately, you know, it's a systemic thing going on within this community. This is something that's been happening, and I'll just say South Carolina. I don't know what's going on out here, but like I said, I'll be remiss if I didn't speak on it. This is Black History Month. There are, just in 90 days alone, there have been about 20 girls all under the age of 18 that has either been missing, went missing, murdered, a victim of domestic violence. And I don't understand what's going on in this community. It's heartbreaking. And for us to be able to see it in real time, This is something that we usually witness on TV, and our heart goes out to the family that have to go through that, because it's something that no one could ever imagine. But now we're going through it, and we just really don't understand how something like this in 2024 can still happen.
And you were telling me something before. You had a chance to reach out to the Sheriff Michael Hunt. You had a chance to reach out to Eric Abdullah, the captain over here. And you said you weren't able to get the answers that you wanted, but you reached out to another individual.
Yeah.
And you said, you know, he was able to kind of be there for your family when y'all really need. Kind of tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, so at the onset of this entire situation, we have communicated as a family with Sheriff Hunt, Eric Abdullah, as well as the investigator, Mrs. Abdullah. We've extended an olive branch to them to stand with us in solidarity, because we would think that since they're in this community, our pain would be their pain. But unfortunately, they have not been willing or want to stand alongside us in solidarity. As a matter of fact, phone calls have gone unanswered. And like James just said, he has not been receiving the weekly updates like he's supposed to. So we did have an angel come out to us. His name is Grant, Mr. Grant, yes, who is going to be the new, we hope, the new sheriff in this community. He's been readily available for us. Phone calls, text messages, social media. He's opened his heart and his arms to us, because obviously he's from this community. He's also an individual whose father got murdered in this community, so he understands our pain. So he's willing to stand in solidarity with us. And I just want the people in this community to know that this sheriff, they're elected. You elect him. That's why it's so important for you to get out there and vote, because voting is important. It is very important. Individuals die for your right to vote. Please, if you're in this community, please vote. So if you feel like you're not getting the answers, or your loved ones are going missing just like our loved one, you got a voice. You got a voice. Please exercise it, please.
Going back to Mr. Grant, does it give you hope that someone is finally listening?
Oh my God, yes. You know, he, like I said, he's just a phone call away. He's been communicating with us, he's been there with us every step of the way, just giving us other avenues to pursue. And he's been our guardian, like our angel.
So Millie has children, or at least one?
Two.
So what do you tell the children? Because I'm pretty sure they're looking for their mother. And based on their age, you know,
What
it's
do
difficult
you?
to say, you know, she's missing.
What do you tell them?
We don't have answers. You don't want to keep lying to them.
We don't have anything to tell them, so what do you tell them? If they would tell us something, then maybe we would feel comfortable enough to share something with the kids, but they haven't been sharing anything with us.
So do the kids feel some type of way that their mother is dying?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're young. I mean, listen, the mother is the teacher of the child, you know, and the mother is the one that's supposed to be, you know, nurturing the child. When you remove that from the equation, you remove everything. Can't nobody take care of and raise your child like a mother. When you remove that, then you took everything, and then you create a domino effect. Domino effect affect her father, affect her mother, affect her kids. You remove that, then what do you have left? Broken homes. A broken home. These children no longer have their father, they no longer have their mother. One selfless act. You know, had someone answered that phone call and did what they needed to do for Millie that night, and repeated phone calls that she called on numerous occasions, calling 911, pleading, begging for help, she will still be here today. That man that's in jail right now, Harmon, he got a record as long as the law, as long as the Bible, and they did everything impossible to keep that man on the streets. And I don't understand it. Like I've said this before, I'll say it again. I hold this probation officer responsible, I hold this county responsible, and I hold the probation officer supervisor responsible.
And you mentioned before, this is a systemic issue involving black folks.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. And you said at this point you guys are thinking about taking this to another level, starting maybe a foundation or something like that. Kind of touch on that a little bit more.
Yeah, so this situation with Jamilla, it's been heartfelt. And so we've done our research, and what we noticed as a family, as a collective, that there are so many black and missing within, and I'll just say South Carolina. We don't get national news coverage. We don't get any type of communication. We don't get nothing. We don't get nothing from the community. We're left to just fend for ourselves. So she and I, Jamilla's aunt, we're wanting to put together a foundation in honor of Jamilla to I guess, keep her legacy alive. You know, life goes on after Jamilla has went home. She got 2 children. There's something that's gonna have to be done after, you know, when we have, hopefully, a celebration of life. These children still need constant communication, constant love, constant care, constant counseling. They're gonna need that. They're gonna need that. So if other children are in that situation, especially women who suffer from domestic violence, it's like they don't have a voice. I'm not understanding. If you see me, you see signs of physical abuse on me, and you don't act as a police officer, you are mandated to act. But instead, they label her as if she was someone just seeking attention. She wasn't seeking attention. She was seeking help. Sorry.
No problem. No, you're fine. How old are her children?
I'm sorry.
How old are her children?
Oh, it's 4,
9 and 4.
4 and 9.
Babies. Babies.
But they understand that their mom is not here. They understand 3 months their mom has not come home.
Right. So, you got children?
No, ma'am. Not
Do
yet.
you?
I'm working on it.
Well,
Don't work too hard, brother.
imagine being a child and you wake up one morning and your mother's gone. You think your mother abandoned you? Would your mother ever abandon you? We don't leave our children like that. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to do that. We're there from the time they're born and from the time they, you know, go on to become active members of this society. We're still there after that.
Because you always think mama's going to be there to nurture.
Yes,
Yeah.
And that's
no
exactly
parent.
who Millie was. That's exactly who she was for her kids.
A nurturer.
She loved them more than anything. Her kids come first. She was supposed to go pick one up the day Daniel Harmon did what he did.
Selfish act.
Is there anything that through this process you guys are taking away from about the case? It could be about Jamilla, it could be about Harmon. Just what is it kind of that you guys are feeling right now?
Well, I tell you what, I do have words that I would like to share with the people in this community, because it's been shared with us from the Broken Lead Foundation. So you have to forgive me if I continue to look down at my phone. So this is a statement from the Broken Lead Foundation as well as the family of Jamilla Smith. So first, we want to thank you all for coming out today. Jamilla went missing December the 2nd, 2023. On December the 2nd, Millie made a 911 call for help, but help didn't come. At least not in the time to save Millie from her abusive boyfriend, Daniel Harmon. Yes, Daniel is in jail for murdering our Millie. But where is Millie? Where is Millie? We need answers and we need justice. Millie deserves justice. We will not stop our quest for answers or justice for Millie. We will be heard. We're not going away. We're not going nowhere. We will stand united in our fight. Had the dispatcher send out the call to LE, and had they responded quickly, it could have saved her life. It could have saved Millie's life. Who is going to answer for the terrible mistakes that were made the night of December the 2nd, 2023? We demand justice for Millie.
I think I do want to ask James one question. So this is your daughter. Kind of tell me a little bit about y'all's relationship and what this is doing to you as a father. I know you kind of said that a little bit before, but you kind of briefed in your statement. But just want to know a little bit about y'all's relationship and what's this doing to you personally.
She's my daughter. Father's got a different relationship with their daughter. You know, his understanding more. When you talk, they let you know stuff. So she was my twin. You know, so she was my joy. Now she's my guardian angel. So it's tough. I mean, said last time, we ain't going nowhere. We're gonna come and do the interviews as we need to. Until something happens with Millie do come. We can bring Millie home.
Do you think it's something that you could have done? I know if I was a father, you know, something happened to my daughter, in the back of my mind,
Yeah,
maybe something I could
it
have done.
was a lot of hidden things. She'll tell, you know, she's a girl. She'll talk to her mother more than she will her daddy. Especially certain things she'll explain to her. Yeah, so when this first came out, a lot of things were coming out that I didn't know of. So yeah, I would have did something different.
So how did that affect you when you heard about all that stuff coming out? How did it
affect me?
You didn't give him a
Let me ask
chance
you
to do
this.
anything.
What if somebody did something to your mama? How would you feel? Or any little one? I don't know, because you said you're working on kids. For example, for your mother.
Well, you know, I'm a reporter, so I need to be neutral.
Yes, I understand.
But if it was just me personally, I would kill somebody. If they did something to my mama, that's my mama.
That's understandable. So the same emotion you got, people feel about their mama, their kids, their daughter. That's how I feel. But you know, I just gotta be balanced. I can't crack under pressure. I can't do that.
Yes, sir.
I can't do it. So I'm trying to humble myself.
Yes, sir.
Trying to just be, because it's not over. It's just starting. He haven't even been tried yet, so trial haven't even started yet. So it's just the beginning. I'm just letting everybody know here that we're gonna be here. We're gonna be out here. We're gonna have every press time we can. So that's what I feel.
Repeat that email address.
So again, for those who do have information, we have a direct email that y'all can contact if y'all do not want to go through the law enforcement. It's justiceforjamilla@gmail.com. It's justice, spelled as justice, the number 4, Jamilla, JAMILLA@gmail.com.
And you guys will take those leads to law enforcement, or like you said before, y'all just go ahead and investigate it yourself.
And you can also send it to Broken Wings Foundation as well, because we're collaborating.
We'll most likely investigate ourselves, but you know, with the help of law enforcement, if we do get any, you know,
Right.
if it comes along.
Yeah, and speaking of help of law enforcement, so it would be nice if SLED could step in, because we was told personally by SLED that they were not involved in this case, and it would be real nice if the FBI could step in too.
So at this point, any outside federal help agency, yes, it will be greatly appreciated if we can get some real help.
Yeah, and we just want to say thank you to the Broken Link Foundation as well as Mr. Lucas Grant. We appreciate you, and we appreciate y'all too for coming out and advocating with us as well.
I think I'm good.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank y'all.
You're good.
Jake.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes. Thank you.
I got some. I can go ahead and give you my number though.
The family also hired a private investigator because they felt the Aiken County Sheriff's Office wasn't communicating with them or taking the case seriously enough. On December 23rd, the results came back from the state laboratory. The evidence found in Daniel's car was confirmed to belong to Jamilla Smith. Based on the amount of evidence found, investigators concluded that Jamilla had passed away. That same day, Daniel was given additional charges. As detectives continued to dig deeper into what happened after December 2nd, they discovered that Daniel hadn't acted alone in covering up his crime. On April 7, 2024, investigators arrested Brian Alexander Hampton, Jr. According to the arrest warrant, Hampton had provided Daniel with transportation and cell phones after Jamilla's disappearance and had allegedly helped Daniel dispose of evidence related to the case. Hampton initially denied any involvement and requested bail, claiming he was innocent and had no knowledge of what happened to Jamilla. However, his bail was denied. On May 2, 2024, a third person was arrested. Clyde James Henley II, described as an associate of Daniel Harmon, was also charged with being an accessory. Like Hampton, Henley was accused of helping Daniel dispose of evidence and providing him with assistance after the crime. When investigators searched Henley's vehicle, they found evidence indicating that Jamilla had been inside his car at some point. This discovery provided crucial information about how Daniel had managed the cover-up with help from his associates. On May 10, 2024, 5 months after Jamilla disappeared, the search finally ended. Investigators were called to a wooded area in the 2100 block of Silver Bluff Road. This was an area that had been searched before, but on this day, there was an important discovery related to the case.
An update to a story we've been tracking for you out of Aiken County. Investigators say they have located the body of missing mother Jamilla Smith. She had not been seen since December 2nd and has been presumed dead by investigators. Aiken Bureau Chief Sean Cabbage has the latest.
There's been a tremendous effort in trying to resolve this case.
On Thursday, investigators discovered human remains in a wooded area on Silver Bluff Road, identified as Jamilla Smith. The 30-year-old disappeared on December 2nd.
She was buried, so we had to use an excavator to assist us with recovering her remains.
Daniel Gabriel Harmon is charged with murder, and Brian Alexander Hampton Jr. and Clyde Henley II are charged with accessory after the fact to murder in connection with her disappearance and death.
We have taken statements, evidence processing. There's still a significant amount of evidence that needs to be processed, electronic data, and so forth.
While the motive remains unclear, authorities stress that the case will stay open until prosecution.
We can't do this by ourselves. And in this case, for example, our community has reached out to us because they are just as affected as their family, even though it's on a deeper level for our family.
The case is still under investigation. In Aiken County, I'm Aiken Bureau Chief Sean Cabbage.
The Aiken County coroner, along with the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, confirmed that it was Jamilla Smith. The medical examiners revealed that Jamilla had suffered serious injuries. With this discovery, the case against Daniel Harmon became more serious. He was already facing other charges, but now prosecutors had physical evidence and a clear cause of her passing. As for his associates, both Hampton and Henley faced significant prison time for their roles in helping Daniel cover up the crime. Their cooperation with the cover-up had prolonged and hindered the investigation. Daniel Harmon remains in the Aiken County Detention Center without bond, awaiting trial. Brian Hampton Jr. and Clyde Henley II are also in custody, facing charges as accessories. Jamilla's children are being raised by their grandmother, and the family continues to seek justice while honoring Jamilla's memory. I hope these stories help you recognize warning signs and encourage you to seek help or offer support before it's too late. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.